Hi everyone, welcome to our video for international students. This is a video talking about what to expect and some of the frequently asked questions we get from international students this year. So my name is Alana Green and I'm the International Recruitment and Admissions Officer. And today I'm joined with Christa Maston, our International Advisor. Welcome.
Well, thanks.
Okay, so first off, we're really excited for you to join us on campus this fall. In our Jennings Dinings Hall, we have 62 flags representing the nationalities of our students. So we're really excited for you to come and to have your flag represented there. And first off, I just want to talk about some of the next steps for students who already have their offers for Mount Allison University. So first up is paying that $100 deposit to accept your offer. May 4th is the scholarship confirmation deadline. So in order to ensure that you get your scholarships, May 4th is the deadline. And one important point with that is in Canada, you're actually allowed to put deposits down at multiple universities. So if you're still deciding between Mount Allison and one or two other universities, unless there's specific rules at those other universities, you can do that to give yourself a bit more time to decide. Also is the $500 deposit for residence, and we strongly encourage students to live in residence in their first year. And May 14th is our registration. That's when registration opens for classes. So it's really important that you pay your $100 deposit before this date so that you're able to begin registering for courses on May 14th. Other than that, for students who have finished high school, you should be sending along your official copy of your transcript to us. If you're not quite sure what document you should send, please email me and I can give you some guidance specific to your country in terms of what we expect. And if you're not quite done high school, good luck with those final exams, and please send along your final transcript once it's prepared. And I think that the last point I really want to make is that we have a Mount A Facebook group and a Mount A Class of 2022 group available. So if you'd like to join us there, you can get more information, start to connect with your future classmates. So first you need to join the Mount A Facebook group, and once you join that, then you're able to join the Mount A Class of 2022 group. So that's a really great resource, and for more information on your next steps, just visit mta.ca/admitted, and they're all nicely listed out there for you. All right, so let's get going. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about, Christa, is the international orientation.
Yes.
So give me the details on that.
Sure. So Mount Allison organizes a university orientation that is open to all students, so both Canadian and international, and that begins on August 30th. However, international students are invited to come to campus earlier than that for a pre-orientation. So international students are permitted to move into residence starting on Saturday, August 26th. And then starting on the 27th, we will have programming and activities as part of our international orientation. So students can register from the International Center website, and we'll get that information to you in the comments of the video. And so yeah, as I mentioned, there will be sessions on everything from what to expect with the academic system at Mount A and in Canada and how that may differ from other countries, things about cultural adjustment and what to expect, the resources that are available on campus for international students and for all students. And then importantly, those fun social activities. So we, take a trip to the beach and we take a trip to the shopping mall. And we have a great group of upper year international and Canadian students who volunteer their time and help run the sessions and the activities. And it's really a wonderful time, and I really encourage everyone to take advantage of our international orientation.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great first welcome to campus, and a great way to get to know some of the other students and familiarize yourself. Now, what about arrival? What do we offer for students when they actually land in Moncton, at Moncton Airport?
Yeah, so the closest international airport is in Moncton, Moncton, New Brunswick, and we offer a pickup service for students who are arriving in Moncton. So if you arrive on the 26th and the 27th, or the 27th, sorry, of August, we will pick you up at the airport when you arrive. So even if you arrive at 11 o'clock p.m. at night, we will be there to greet you and to bring you to campus and drop you off directly at your residence. So please try to arrive, again, ideally on August 26th. The 27th, we will still pick you up at the airport, but it really gets you on campus as early as possible, and again, then you don't miss out on any of that programming. But yeah, it's a great service that we provide, and students really appreciate it to know that someone is waiting for you at the airport, and that you'll see some faces there greeting you. So
definitely,
yeah.
And what about our Canadian students who are living abroad? Can
Yes.
they join orientation? Can they access this pickup service?
They can, and we encourage it. So, every year we have students who are Canadian citizens who are living abroad who take part in international orientation. Again, and the feedback afterwards is always, I didn't know whether or not I needed this, but I'm so glad I came. So, again, this, the information, but also just the connections that you can make with students on campus before everyone else arrives, before the big group of students arrives.
Absolutely. And I guess for those Canadians living abroad, they may relate more to the experience of the other international students who are also coming a long way from where their family's been living.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a great opportunity for them as well. So this time of year, those students who have their offer letters, hopefully you're going out and you're beginning the process to apply for your study permit.
Yes.
So Christa, can you give us a few details about the study permit process and what students need to do?
Yes. So it's recommended that students apply online for their study permit. So there is a paper application process as well. But again, it is recommended that students apply online. I understand it can be daunting to begin the task, but rest assured it is, quite straightforward. So the first step in the process would be to create an account on the IRCC website. And so IRCC stands for Immigration, Refugees, Citizenship Canada, and so it's the government department in Canada that's responsible for issuing study permits, work permits, temporary resident visas, so those types of things. So you would create an account. Once you've created that account, you would be directed through a series of questions. Essentially, what would you like to do in Canada? So study, how long do you expect to be there? Those types of questions. And then it will take you to an upload page. And that upload page will be tailored to your specific situation. So, depending on where you're residing and your country of citizenship, there may be, some different documents that are required. And the upload page, based on the information you've given, will tell you exactly the documents that you need to upload. So again, it's it'll be tailored to you. It's quite straightforward. In regards to the processing time, those are found on the IRCC website as well. And again, we'll include these links for you. So both processing time and the link to where you begin your online sign-in for the...
Yeah, that's important because for some countries it can take some time to get the study permit and even to gather those documents that are required for your country. So we definitely recommend students begin the process as soon as possible because we don't want you to have any delays joining us on campus.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
And students probably shouldn't book their travel, their flights until they have their study permits arranged.
Correct.
Just to be sure, right?
Yeah. So if your study permit is approved, then you would receive a letter of introduction. And so that would be, again, emailed to you or directly into the online system that you've created an account for. And that letter of introduction is what you will present when you come to Canada and then your study permit is issued. So really, yes, you should wait until you receive your letter of introduction before you make those flight arrangements. So again, as soon as possible is ideal.
Great. Okay. Well, let's talk a bit about the services that are available for international students on campus.
Sure.
So can you introduce us to the International Center and what's offered through the center?
Sure. So as Alana mentioned, I am the International Student Advisor at Mount A, and so I am responsible for coordinating all of the programs and services for international students. And so I'll just kind of take you through, some of our bigger programs. So the mentorship program is a wonderful program that we offer through the International Center. So we match first year international students with upper year Canadian and international students. And it's a really popular program. Every year we have, over 80% of our first year international students who will sign up for the program. And so based on the information you give us in the application form, according to your interests and so on, we will match you with an upper year student. And so there are group activities that we do as part of the program. So different, we go on trips to Prince Edward Island and Halifax, so you get a chance to see the region. But then there are also on-campus events that we will organize for the group, and then you will meet one-on-one with your mentor at least twice a month is what our aim is. And so we always get really positive feedback about the program. It's often a highlight for everyone in the program, but again, especially for first year students, it's usually a highlight of their first year's participation in this program.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice to have an older student, someone who's a bit more experienced who kind of can give you some advice, some guidance, as you're kind of finding your way here at Mount Allison. So.
And then into different groups too, right?
Yeah.
So often it's just that, the activities, the parties that the upper year student is going to, that they invite the first year student to, that just gives, a bit more of that, those connections and that community development that, first year students really appreciate.
Sounds very good. Well, I hope you guys decide to participate when you arrive at Mount A.
Yes.
So those are some of, that's the mentorship program. Right. Can you talk a bit about the academic support that's available for international students?
Yeah. So in the office, we have a coordinator for academic support that works specifically with international students. So some of the things that you could expect through this office would be tailored workshops, academic skills workshops, so things like note-taking and writing essays and giving presentations. Again, tailored specifically to international students. So, potentially that means if you're not familiar with, again, the expectations that would come along with presenting a project in class. So they're tailored kind of specifically to the international student experience. Along with the workshops, the coordinator also offers one-on-one advising for students. So, there will be a set schedule of workshops, but maybe you're just in your first week of classes really struggling with keeping up with the readings and taking notes in class, and you really just want to sit down with someone and discuss the issues and maybe tips on how to tackle the challenges. And so, the coordinator can sit down with students one-on-one and really, help students through those details. Also in the winter term, every year we offer the academic support program. And so it is the same coordinator who is offering this service. And so for students who may not have done as well as they had hoped in the fall term, they're able to register for this program. And again, the type of one-on-one support that we would offer all year round, it's just a program where, you receive more of that tailored support. You come up with an academic plan of action, what went wrong, where can I improve, and then free tutoring is also included with that. So we match students with course-specific tutors, and then you have peer tutoring as part of that program as well. And so that's a really helpful
Sounds
service.
really good.
Yeah.
To get that one-on-one support and help is really great.
Yeah.
So moving away from academics, and I know for a lot of students and their families, they're thinking about long term. They're thinking about what's next after graduation. So I know for you guys, you haven't even arrived at university, but you're already thinking about your future, many of you. So how does Mount Allison prepare students for graduation and their careers and the next steps. Can you tell us a bit about what's available there?
Sure. So we have a program offered through the International Center in partnership with our Career Services Coordinator. It's called the Graduation Preparation Series. And so this program is open to upper year international students. And so as part of the program, there are workshops and special events offered to students. The workshops would cover things like the Canadian job search. So how do you look for a job post-graduation? Or even in the summer, there are lots of students who will join the program who are looking for summer work, and they want to know, like, where do I look for work? What can I expect from a Canadian interview? Those things can vary from country to country, and the expectations, the norms, and so just kind of going through that information with students. So again, workshops are part of the series. We do special events, speakers will come in. We always organize an alumni panel, so we'll have international students who have graduated and then are living in the region who have started working and looking for work, and they come back and share their stories. In the program, we also talk about immigration options. So, post-graduation, what are the opportunities for receiving a work permit and gaining permanent residency? And so again, we often invite guest speakers in to talk to students about those issues as well. Am I forgetting anything? Let me look at my notes. One other thing that we do as part of the program, which is often, like a highlight for students, is doing mock interviews. So, in a workshop setting, we'll talk about, these are the things to expect, but then we invite students to come in and actually do a practice interview. So, the program coordinators will be the interviewers, and students come in and prepare for the interview, and then we go through and,
Wow.
and give them the feedback. And it's, again, for any student,
So
whether you're
helpful.
international or Canadian, it's really valuable experience, but it's something that students really appreciate.
That's good. Gives them a bit more confidence,
Right,
going out
exactly.
into your interviews and looking for jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like a great program. And you touched on, the immigration option for students.
Yes.
After they graduate from Mount Allison. So I know that Canada-wide, we have the 3-year post-graduate work permit that students can apply for. But also here in Atlantic Canada, we have the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So this is for students who are graduating from a university in one of the Atlantic provinces. So that's New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Prince Edward Island. If you graduate from a university in one of these provinces and get a job offer in one of those provinces within your first year after graduation, you can actually apply for permanent residency at that time. So that's a really unique benefit to coming to study in the Atlantic provinces, and with the services Mount A provides, we can help students really prepare for what's next after graduation. Anything you wanted to add in terms of those immigration options for students?
Again, I think that the postgraduate work permit is a great starting point again. So there are, different options as far as permanent residency in Canada, but that postgraduate work permit, which is an open work permit for students, again, if you graduate from Mount A 4-year degree program, it's a 3-year work permit. Again, open, no restrictions. You can be in, anywhere in Canada with any employer. So I think that's often the starting point for students. And again, with this new Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, there's more and more opportunities for students to, gain employment and work towards permanent residency in Canada.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm kind of opening up my mailbag. So I receive lots of emails and questions from students at this time of year. So I wanted to go over some of the FAQ, the frequently asked questions that I receive from students, and I'm going to get Christa's help in answering some of these questions. So the first one, and I get this quite a bit, what is Mountie money? So students often see that there's this $100 fee in their list of fees, but it's not actually a fee because the $100 is put onto the Mountie money card, which is like an IC card that students can use around campus. So what would students use their card for on campus?
Yeah, so if you are living in residence, which many of you will be in your first year at Mount A, you would use this card to enter meal hall. So again, in that case, you are not, taking any money off of the card. It would just be kind of as a form of ID. But we also have different cafes on campus, and so which would be outside of the meal plan. And so if you wanted to, stop by the library cafe and get a coffee, you could use your Mountie card to purchase a coffee and a muffin while on your way to study in the library. You can also use this at the bookstore. So the bookstore in our student center, you could, this is where you can load money onto your card, but you can also make purchases at the campus bookstore with your Mountie card as well.
I understand that you can also use it for copying and printing too. So when you have to submit that essay or final report, then it's all on your card. So the $100, it isn't a fee, but actually we're loading it on the card for your use. Yeah. So many uses for the Mountie.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this is another one that I know you know the answer to. How do I open a bank account once I arrive in Canada?
Yeah, so we have 2 banks in Sackville, the Bank of Nova Scotia and the Royal Bank. And during orientation, so we will have a registration fair as part of international orientation on the first day. And so at this fair, students are able to do a number of tasks, setting up your health insurance. Another one of those is setting up your bank account. So representatives from both banks will come to campus to meet with students on that first day that they're here on campus and help them set up their bank account. So again, another value to coming during international orientation. If you arrive outside of orientation, it's a simple meeting that you could set up with the bank. And again, I'm always happy to help with those connections. But yes, as part of international orientation on your first day on campus, you will have the opportunity to set up your bank account.
Okay, well, that's really helpful. So definitely good to know that, once you arrive, you can set that up pretty much right away. Yeah. So that's good. Now, the other thing is cell phones. Students often ask, can I use my cell phone in Canada? Should I bring my phone? Or should I buy a new one when I arrive? And it's difficult for me to say. I'm not a very techie person, so it really depends on the country you're coming from and whether it matches with the cellular network here in Canada. So you can always bring your phone and check with the cell companies when you arrive to see if you'd be able to use your phone. But Christa, you're saying that some students opt to not get a phone plan at all?
Yeah, I've actually heard this from a few students this year. I guess with, now with, FaceTiming and WhatsApp, I think it's called. So those different apps that just use Wi-Fi, and often students are using that to communicate with one another and with parents and family back home. So I have heard quite a few students who have actually said they haven't set up an actual phone plan and just rely on Wi-Fi and their phone to make those calls. Again, I think that's something that once you arrive, the facilitators who are part of international orientation, who will offer you all of those tips, will be happy to answer those questions. We also, as I had mentioned, take a trip to the shopping center as part of international orientation, and all of the cell providers that are in the region have kiosks at the shopping center, and so students will take that opportunity to ask questions, to bring their phone, to see if it's possible to get a SIM card for their phone and so on. So again, during international orientation, you can get all of those details sorted.
Great. And I think a related point to add is we have Wi-Fi across our campus here at Mount Allison. So everywhere you go on campus, you can use Wi-Fi. So that is pretty convenient. Yes. So I can see how some students might decide just not to bother with a phone plan.
Yes.
All right, very good. Some good options there. Now, moving on to thinking about what to pack and that sort of thing. So some students are asking about, should I bring blankets and pillows and sheets and all these sorts of things for my bed and residence? So what would you say to that?
So I would say the answer to that question may be very different depending on how you're arriving here. So if you are coming by car and adding your favorite, comforter set or blankets and pillow where space may not be an issue, you may wish to bring along those things. But if you're coming on a plane, I would say, you have precious limited space. Don't bother packing your blankets and pillow. When you register for international orientation, one of the questions will ask you if you would like to have to pay the $30 fee to receive a pillow and blanket and sheet set on your bed. I would really recommend that you take advantage of that. It is possible that you could get your, blankets and pillow when we go on our shopping trip. But if you're arriving, in the evening and you're going to be coming into your residence room, it's really worth it to have your bed set up, and they will make the bed for you when you request that.
And they make it very nicely.
And they make it very neatly and nicely and so much more welcoming. So even if you decide that the blanket is a little bit thin and you'd like something a bit more comfortable, you'll have the opportunity to get that on our shopping trip. But at least to have the sheet set, the pillow, the $30 service is worth it. So I would recommend students sign up for that.
Yeah, it sounds convenient just to have the bed ready for you when you arrive. And then if you want to kind of supplement that basic set, if you want to get maybe a second set of sheets or a second pillow, or like you say, a cozier blanket, then you can buy that at the shopping mall when you go there.
Yes.
Okay, that's some great advice. Now, students sometimes ask me too about shipping stuff ahead of time because you only have two hands. There's only so much you can carry with you. So what would you say to that?
So I actually checked in with the mailroom today just to kind of confirm the details, and so students are welcome to send packages before they arrive. If you don't receive information about your unit number, so I guess if I back up, in the student center on campus, you will have a student mailbox. And so we have mail service right here on campus. And so if you want to send something to your residents, it would arrive in the student center. That's where you would send it. So this is something that we can post in the comments of the video, the student mail service address. And so if you don't have your unit number by the time you want to send your package, as long as it has your name, I've been told that it will be held for you until you arrive. And so I also was told that if students have any questions at all, you can just email studentmail@mta.ca, and they're happy to answer any questions that you might have about shipping and receiving your mail.
Okay, well that sounds helpful. Just if you have a bit more that you want to bring with you, then we'll fit in your checked bags. Okay, and so kind of the last question I have related to this is what should I pack? So it's such a big question, and it's a bit personal too, because it really depends on you and also where you're coming from. So what are some ideas of things students should pack or just start to think about?
Sure. So I actually posed this question to our team of international orientation facilitators who have already been selected and are already hard at work thinking about fun activities to plan for you guys for international orientation. And so some of the ideas that were given, the one that was reoccurring was bring your favorite snacks from home. So a bit of that comfort when you're missing home. The snacks and treats that you might get in Canada will be different from what you would get at home. So that was one of the ones that came up quite a bit, actually, was those snacks from home. Another was bringing some formal clothing. So even if that's just, one nice dress or one kind of dressier clothing for male students, because there are opportunities for, to get a bit dressed up in some semi-formal attire. So during your first couple of weeks on campus, there's a first year banquet, so for first year students in residence. And so again, within your first couple of weeks here, there's opportunities to kind of get dressed up. And so that was some feedback given by a couple of facilitators that said, you know what, I wish I would have packed one nice outfit, a bit fancier, that I would have had when I first arrived to be able to, get dressed up for those occasions. On a similar note, traditional or, national dress. So we do have a multicultural student group on campus that is very active. And so they organize some activities and banquets during the year. And so there are opportunities if you would like to wear your national dress. And so students are always encouraged to bring that along. We actually have a reception as part of international orientation that, again, students will either get a bit dressed up, a bit fancier, or even wear their traditional dress. So it's up to students about that. And then I guess just again on the personal note, so things like toiletries. So if maybe you want to bring toothpaste, and if you've got a favorite shampoo that you really love, those things that might not take a lot of space, but that just might, help you get started while you're here until you sort out, maybe you don't like the taste of the toothpaste here because you're used to what you
never know.
Yeah. So things like that, like a set of toiletries that you would usually use at home, bringing those along, I think kind of helps you in your first couple of weeks here and getting set up.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful to kind of have a complete set of the products you normally use. Yeah. But, students shouldn't worry too much about stocking up or like doing a lot of buying or shopping before they arrive. Yeah. Because, each country is a little bit different. So when you arrive in Canada, you'll figure out what you can buy here, what's useful here, what's different from home. So don't do any panic shopping. Definitely get those essentials and enough to do you. And then, if you find you can't get, your favorite shampoo or certain products here, then maybe you can ask your family to send a little care package along the way.
That's right. Actually, just something that I thought of that's been brought up by our nurse educator in the Wellness Center. So at Mount Allison, we have a wellness center, which has counseling services for students, but also has a full-time nurse educator and a doctor who also comes in weekly for appointments with students. And so if you have a prescription, so if you have medication that you take regularly, you don't need to worry about taking like a full year supply of your medication. If you have, I would say have enough to do you for the first little while, but you can make an appointment with our wellness center and have an appointment with the doctor, and they can issue your prescription for the medication that you would normally have. So that might be something if you take medication regularly, you might be worried about getting that medication here and traveling with a lot of it. Again, rest assured that you would be able to get prescriptions filled or a new prescription issued here.
Okay.
In our wellness center.
That's very helpful to know. Great. So that's the end of my frequently asked questions, but you guys might have other questions that we haven't covered here in this video. So I did want to let you know that you can always contact us at any time with your questions, big or small. And you can reach me, Alana, at international@mta.ca with any of those questions. If they're more suited for Christa, in terms of orientation and what to prepare for coming on campus, then I'll be sure to pass them along to her. But you're always welcome to contact me as your admissions counselor. So just to let students know that we have a fantastic international handbook that is sent out by email that has a lot more information on some of the topics we covered here to help prepare you for coming on campus. So keep checking your Mount A email account. That will be sent along to you shortly. And just a reminder again, after you pay your $100 deposit, you can go and register for international orientation so that you can begin kind of the next steps to prepare to join us. And just let us know if you need any help along the way. So thanks very much for joining me, Christa.
Problem. It was great. It was a pleasure. I look forward to seeing everyone in August for international orientation.
Great. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.